Now let's look a little closer at the conditions that caused the low pressure system, the mid-latitude cyclone, to form. And we'll use the null school Earth wind map here to help us illustrate some of these things. So first, let's look at the surface wind conditions here. You can see the wind down in the southeast coming off of the Gulf of Mexico here. So that is bringing moisture up in this direction. We can see that there's some swirling wind here, and it's pushing air southward over here. So that's the cold, dry air coming south in this direction. And that continental tropical air, that dry, warm air, is coming up from the southeast in this direction. Now, we can also look at the upper level winds. So if we switch to 500 millibars, you can see there's a big dip in the jet stream. Okay, so these are these strong winds, and they are dipping down and curving around. And this is one of the things that is allowing this polar air to come down towards the south. And this is one of the things that's going to start this process of cyclogenesis happening. So as this moves southward and this air here is moving northward, you already kind of have a little bit of that rotation. Let's go back to the surface here. Now, how do we know that these are the maritime tropical and the continental polar? Let's look at the temperature conditions there. And you can see very nice warm air right here with a very distinct change right here to colder air. So this is colder air moving down from the north, warmer air coming up from the south. So we know that this air is warm. We know that this air is cold. This air over here is warm as well. Let's look at the amount of moisture in it, though. So we can look at TPW's total precipitable water, and you can see again lots of water in this maritime tropical air coming up from the Gulf, and not much at all in the air that's over here. So the continental tropical air over here also is pretty dry, so it's warm and dry. This air is cold and dry, and so we've got that different air masses that are going to clash, and where they clash is where we get fronts. Now, what about the pressure conditions? Well, we can switch to mean sea level pressure, and we can see that there is some general lower pressures in that area. And it's not real severe yet, but it's going to develop that way. Okay, let's go back to the surface winds, and let's move forward a day. Click forward by a day, and now we can see that the low pressure system, the swirling of winds, is really starting to get organized here. And you can see the air still moving up from the Gulf, but it's stronger moving down in this direction. And so the cold air is going to start to wrap around here. And as this cold air starts to encounter this warm air, it's going to start to form that cold front along here. Whereas the warm air moving north over here into the cold air area is going to start to form the warm front in that direction. Let's look at the temperatures. And you can see that the warm air is moving up, cold air is moving down in this direction. And we have now moved our center eastward here. And looking at the total precipitable water, you can really kind of see where that boundary is, kind of running down in this direction, and the other boundary over here, kind of running over in this direction. And when we look at sea level pressure, we can see that the pressure has also moved eastward, and it's getting a little more organized and a little stronger right in that area. All right, let's go back to the wind at the surface, and let's go another day forward. So that was the third. We'll now go to the fourth, and we see that the center of low pressure is now up here. That swirling wind pattern, it's going counterclockwise around there, spiraling in and being lifted up. And you can really see where that front has developed right along here. This is a line of a cold front right there. The warm front would be kind of over in this direction here. And let's look at it again with temperature, and look at how nice that cold front is right there. You can see this colder air kind of wrapping around, moving in here around that low. And as it comes through, it's just going to lift that warm air up very abruptly. It's going to scoop it up, push it up into the sky where it's going to, the warm air is going to expand and cool adiabatically. It's going to reach the dew point temperature very quickly, and it's going to dump all of that moisture from the Gulf of Mexico in a line of thunderstorms right along that boundary right there. And here you can see really nicely where the warm front is. That's a lot more gradual uplift there. And so you're going to have possibly rain, but over a wider region up in that area there. And let's look at the total precipitable water. And boy, you can really see the shape of that cold front there and the warm front along here. And so that looks really nice right there. It almost has that comma shape. And in fact, we can look at the cloud water, and now you can really see the comma shape to the total cloud water there. When we look at the pressure, we see a really nice area of low pressure centered over the southern Great Lakes here. And it's going to be moving up to the northeast in this case. So this is a fully mature mid-latitude cyclone with quite a bit of weather happening there. Go back to the surface winds here. Let's go another day forward here. And now we can see that that center has moved way up over here. There's kind of a second little low pressure area right over here that is split off from that. And there's kind of an occluded front that is forming right along here. So in this area, the cold air is caught up to the other cold air. Let's look at the temperatures here. So you can see just a little bit of warmer stuff here, but mostly these are surface temperatures. So this is all cooler air at the bottom here. And then you can still see a bit of a cold front running along the eastern seaboard here, and the warm front's kind of coming out in this direction over here. So you got kind of a warm front, cold front, occluded front situation. Let's look at the total precipitable water here, and you can see that this is still the moist air in this sector over here, more dry air over in this area here. And let's look at the pressures. And again, you can see this is the low pressure area with this kind of secondary low being split off right there. Back to wind. You may also notice that behind this weather system, you've got this area over here, which is an area of high pressure, diverging surface winds swirling around in a clockwise pattern. So this is an anticyclone that has come in behind the mid-latitude cyclone that's up here. So let's go one more day forward, and we can see that the center has now moved way up here, and it's going to start to dissipate pretty soon. So let's look at the temperatures here, and you can see that still see some cooler temperatures here and warmer temperatures here. And TPW, there's still a stream of moist air coming into it, but it's just about done. All right, thank you.